I kid you not when I'm saying this, white people and African Americans and other groups of people are more willing to pronounce my name. I'm more willing to say, okay, please, can you say this for me one more time so I don't butcher your name? They are more willing to do that than some Nigerians. Some Nigerians will flat out ask you, what's your English name? I gave you my name and you're asking me for my. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the concept of English names, why Nigerians have English names, why I think this is actually a topic we should be talking about, and why I think that it is something we shouldn't be doing. I know that this is a dicey topic. I know that this one may ruffle some feathers, but I think that this is one of those quotes dicey topics that doesn't really do any long-term harm. So before I get into it, please make sure that gives you a thumbs up. Please make sure that you also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. I want to start by talking about the origin of English names in Nigeria. I have an English name too, and I'm sure most of you know my English name. I just happen to not use it anymore, but it's a part of my official documents. So one of the reasons why we have English names is because of colonialism, and colonialism brought so many things, such as us adopting the use of the English language, and we could get into the use of the English language and how it has also affected our cultures, but that's not the time. We could also look at the fact that colonialism came with Christianity, right? Christianity, a lot of Nigerians are Christians. I think about 50% of Nigerians are Christians. So colonialism and Christianity are two of the, should I say, the biggest reasons why Nigerians have or adopt the use of English names. And I don't necessarily think that English names are inherently bad, but I want us to think about the origins and why that is something that we are still holding on to. Nigeria is such a huge country, first of all. There are so many tribes, so many languages. I think the only common language that is spoken by all Nigerians is Nigerian Pidgin. So apart from Nigerian Pidgin, there's English, right? And depending on which part of the country you go to, people are speaking different languages and different dialects of those languages. So English is kind of like the language that was used to, in quotes, unify the country so that everybody can speak a common language and we can all understand each other. When we're talking about how colonialism brought Christianity and brought religion to, or the Western religion to Nigeria, we're also thinking about the fact that Catholics or Anglicans, usually when there's something that they do called, I think it's called confirmation. I'm not a Catholic. There's something they do called confirmation. So when you're confirmed, I don't know what that's about, but when you're confirmed, you apparently get to, I guess you pick an English name. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I guess you either pick an English name or you're given an English name, one of those two. So people would usually choose names like, let's say, Bible names or something as their, in quotes, English name. I use that word English very loosely. So that's kind of why a lot of us have English names. Another reason is because Nigeria is a very multicultural country. Some people may not know how to pronounce your name and they just ask, okay, what's your English name? I take offense when I hear that particular thing because I feel like you should be able to pronounce people's names. It's like it's the least you can do, even if you don't get it completely right. So so I guess that people just give their children English names so that they have an easier time at school, or so that people are able to relate with them on a more personal basis, if that makes sense. So when we talk about the adoption of English names, I don't necessarily think that they are wrong, but I also want us to think about the fact that why are we very quick to adopt, many people anyway are kind of quick to adopt their own English names and say, okay, call me by this instead of my native name, which is oftentimes so beautiful, so packed with a lot of knowledge, a lot of background story. And because Nigerians, let's say, let me speak for Igbo people, maybe Igbo and Yoruba people, we attach a lot of sentiment to native names. When people tell you the meaning of their names, it usually is backed up with a story. So I kind of wonder why we are now gravitating towards calling children things like Jaden. I'm so sick of that name. Especially in Lagos, you meet a child and you're telling me you're from Nigeria and your name is Jaden. Because I didn't even realize how weird it looks until I came to America and I was telling some of my American friends that, oh, some people have English names. The reason why they have English names is because such and such and such, and it's actually on their birth certificate. So they were really confused. They were like, why is that a thing? And then I had to explain to them, the different reasons. So they got it. But I also want us to understand the fact that English names are not more beautiful or more quote posh or more how do you what's that word? Oh Jesus. Sophisticated or more high up there than regular cultural names. I'm somebody who used my own English name all through secondary school and through university. And after I came out of university, I was even still using my English name. But I think like after 2 years, I dropped it. Now I don't even use it at all. I only use it when I have to write down my name for official reasons. Because my name is my identity. When I tell you my name, if you hear Chilotam Ojukwu, as in if I'm telling you that name as a Nigerian, you can just guess that okay, this person is Igbo. So you know where I'm from. So I feel like your name carries a lot of weight. It's basically your identity. It's something that somebody can use to tell where you're from. So when you try to hide that and bury it and just say, okay, let me just adopt my English name because it's going to be easier for people to pronounce. I think that the process should be evaluated. The reason I'm talking about this is because our cultures are already kind of undergoing some level of erasure, right? And a lot of us are contributing to it, me included. I understand the fact that yes, we are all now adopting English and we're speaking English because usually when you talk about bringing or when you talk about this whole English name thing, people will say, oh, if you're so pro culture, this, why don't you stop speaking English? Personally, I don't think that argument makes any sense because English is like the language that everybody understands. It's a language of education, it's a language of administration, it's a language that you see on street signs. Do you get? So you can't necessarily say that because how are we now going to communicate? English is supposed to be like the plus. But I think that a line should be drawn somewhere so that when people tell you, oh, my name is Oluwadamilare, something like that, you can just say, oh, hi, Oluwadamilare. It shouldn't be such a hassle, especially if you are living in Nigeria. I find it weird when Nigerians will tell you that, oh, I can't pronounce your native name. Another rebuttal to the point of people saying, oh, if you want to be so native and so pro Africa, whatever, drop English as a language. Another rebuttal to that is the fact that the world is anglicized. English is like a global language. So whether you like it or not, it's kind of a plus for us because we can go virtually to any country and be able to interact. Because a lot of people do speak English outside of Nigeria and in other countries in Africa. I feel like that argument is not the right rebuttal to the point of us trying to reduce, or should I say eradicate, the use of English names amongst children, amongst people in Nigeria. And people will always say, oh, but why don't you use your English name when you're abroad, it won't be difficult for people to pronounce your names, but people pronounce the hardest Russian and Ukrainian names that have like 10 consonants and 2 vowels. So why do you think that yours is going to be more difficult? So yeah, I feel like we need to do more exploitation of our cultures and just kind of retain what we already have, because right now a lot of cultures are going, should I say, extinct. There should be a line that is drawn. Yeah, we all speak English. Yeah, personally, I'm an advocate for people speaking properly because I think that communication is a very important part of anybody's growth or an important part of being an adult. While I am very pro speak English properly, right? Because I know people might want to call me out on this. While I'm very pro that, I'm also very pro let us embrace our native names more. Even here in America, right? I have met some Nigerians where I stay and I tell them, oh, my name is Chilutam. It's 3 syllables. I kid you not when I'm saying this. White people and African Americans and other groups of people are more willing to pronounce my name. I'm more willing to say, okay, please, can you say this for me one more time so I don't butcher your name? They are more willing to do that than some Nigerians. Some Nigerians will flat out ask you, what's your English name? First time I heard that thing, I was like, is something, as in, what is wrong with you? Is something really wrong with you? If you see the way, I feel bad now that I think about it, but because I really eyed him, the person that asked me that thing that day. Because I was like, what the hell? What do you mean, what's your English name? I gave you my name and you're asking me for my. It's kind of insulting for somebody to tell you their native name. The reason why I'm telling you my name is because I like the name. Nami the user. Like, I like to use it. And you're telling me what's your English name? So that what will happen? What if I don't even have an English name? Let's start there. And what makes you think that I want to be addressed by my English name? Another point that I would like to make is the fact that our languages or some of our languages are dying. I say this as an Igbo person, right? Igbo people don't, well, some Igbo people anyway, are kind of allowing for language death, and it's really sad. I think that one of the ways to promote cultural awareness or promote language speaking or keeping your language alive is to promote using people's native names. This does not apply to people who are in interracial marriages. Let's say you got married to somebody that is white, or you got married to an African American. That's completely different because the other parent also wants their child to have a name that resembles the culture. So that's the exception to the rule. But if you're two Nigerians and you're getting married, I really don't see the point. Why are you giving your child an English name? There's no reason. We can also make the argument of the fact that in some Christian denominations, let's say Catholics and maybe Anglicans. I don't know if Anglicans do this, but I know Catholics do the whole confirmation thing. So we can also make the argument of, okay, these people are trying to get a name for themselves that is a symbol of, let's say, their belief in Jesus Christ and all that. And I understand, some people adopt Bible names. Bible names are not necessarily English names, or maybe there are now anglicized versions of Bible names. But I also want us to think about the fact that because you're a Christian does not mean that you should abandon your culture. There's some kinds of practices, some kinds of cultural practices that are outdated and that are harmful to people. Yeah, you can do away with those ones. You can do away with the harmful ones, but the ones that are not harmful, you don't have to do away with them. So I don't know how it is in the Catholic Church. I know that this is like a tiny tiny fraction of the entire discussions, but I would maybe urge people to rethink the idea behind, okay, confirmation names. And I don't want to get into all that, trust me, because I don't even know too much enough to talk about it. But I think this is just a conversation worth having, or just like an idea that you should kind of keep at the back of your mind and just think about it, even if you don't actively act on it. Finally, my last point is that we have to kind of learn how to balance the equation. If we are speaking English and we've adopted English and we're doing so many things in English, there's nothing wrong with that because that is actually beneficial to our society. On the other hand, we have to get to a point where we don't do away with our cultures and just strictly depend on English names for the sake of our identities, because then our identities are going to be lost, and all these things I'm saying are not necessarily cast on stone. It's not like a do or die. Is it a will I'm willing to die on? Probably, but I think that it's a conversation that is worth starting and a conversation that is worth having, because people do need to people need to think more about how we are subconsciously erasing our identities with all these new names that they're just so annoying, or trying to the one I even used to annoy is maybe trying to anglicize regular names. My point is that let us embrace having and using our native names more than we use English names. And again, because I know people, when you talk about things like this, people get so offended. If you have an English name that you're using, it's not a problem. I'm not judging you. Okay, I'm not looking down on you or anything like that. This is just a conversation. Okay, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for coming to my little TED talk. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe. Let me know your comments in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.